via LinkedIn. Another one in my series where I'm meeting online meeting all of my mates and industry people. Most people know that my opinion about rec to recs that they're spoiling the industry because there's too many people out there making it too easy for people to change jobs rather than hit a target to get a promotion. However, there are very few exceptions. And then for me, the top of the tree, the guy who's always helped me, there's this fella, which is Gostelow. So when I built the Mint team out, I learned a lot of lessons about how to become a great rec to rec by asking you, right? You said, make it easy to work with you, see everybody I want you to see, pay me really fast, pay me the money I want, and you'll get to see everybody first. And you, to be fair, you offered it, I took it on board, and that's been my message ever since. So during this time, it's a really interesting time in recruitment. I mean, we've been through a period of change, but where we are today, there are so many different trains of thought where people are, some people are actually going mental at the moment in terms of hiring. So the people that they've always wanted, so someone to head up USA contract, someone to take them down the consultancy route, the BD champion of the world, you can get a hold of right now. So I thought it would be appropriate to ask you some questions about what's going on, and I can answer any questions that you've got, because people are changing, are hiring at the moment based on a very different set of criteria. And it'd be just an interesting dynamic that I think a few of my members might be interested in. So first things first, how are you, mate? How are you doing? Do you want to show the world a picture of your house? It's only across the border, isn't it?
On this, I got told I was boring before, so I'm not gonna do it on this occasion. But I've come to the office today to get away from my 6-month-old baby. Life's good, busy, very, very busy. But I think for me, the biggest challenge actually working from home. It's not the economy, it's not the market right now. It's actually being sat in an apartment with my wife, who have not worked alongside for a while, and my 6-month-old baby, who I realise doesn't give a crap what I do every day. Doesn't care for my calls or my loud.
He doesn't give you a little clap every time you go to work.
Doesn't give me a clap. Doesn't even give me a smile. The other day, he actually did a dump looking at me. I think that was more of a suggestion about the call I was making rather than anything else. But no, life is busy. Life is really, really busy, and it's really interesting. I think something you said about asking you questions, we see a massive divide between the guys and the girls that have done this before, and it's not their first rodeo, what we call like the 2008ers and before, and the guys and girls that haven't done this before as well. There seems to be a little bit more panic from the second lot, and that's why I thought it'd be really cool.
Can I say, with your accent, it was like 2000 haters. It's like,
brilliant.
Oh, right, then I heard it.
This is posh Northern Gary. That's what this is the best it gets up here. Thank you very much. 2000 and haters, we should call you. But no, so we see a massive divide. So for me, it's really cool to speak to people like you who've gone through recessions, Middle Ages, Dark Ages, whatever you want to say, and then hopefully that'll help individuals that are newer to this. Carving back, we had the old saying in recruitment, easy hire, easy fire. And now we're seeing the reverse of it, easy fire, easy hire. They've let go 40 people and now thinking, Jesus, we've got a problem here, and trying to hire another 20. So it's a really weird moment in life.
But it's also that there's a really different dynamic at the moment as well. Is you can't guarantee that someone who's been around for a long period of time is going to be right for this moment in time. And what's about to happen in terms of the balance. And it's unusual if people, let me ask you first, right? Are people hiring, in your opinion, differently now? And are they hiring for a downturn, or are they hiring for a boom? Because there's light at the end of the tunnel.
I think everyone's waiting for a bounce. We all know there's going to be a bounce. We saw car sales before, 97% decrease in car sales, but people are still going to buy new cars and it's out. So we're going to see 200, 300% increases in sales of cars when we get back out. So I think people are arming themselves for a bounce, and people are getting ready for it. 23% of individuals have been furloughed, but then individuals are talking about a 30% decrease in job flow. Well, that sort of makes sense. So every person still in work is getting the same job flow. So I think the smart recruiters out there are getting ready for a decent sized bounce and then to work out what happens after. But I think people are just hiring better right now, Gary. The brilliant thing about recruitment is it's quantitative. You got a recruiter builds 200, 300, 400K a year. You see every day how good they are because they write deals on the board every single day. And there's a return on investment. You pay them back with the cash they make. It's not like a techie or an accountant where it's theoretical return on investment. They physically say it in black and white. I earned you today X, Y, and Z. And I think people are being more, there's being smarter, not about the potential of what they're bringing, but about what they have bought, what they can bring. And I know we've talked about this at length previously. They're looking at resilience and people that have got balls and new ideas and aren't scared to change markets, aren't scared to do new business. Account managers are dead. Delivery bods are dead. People that don't want to get on the phone are dead. It's about individuals that are smart, are happy to pick up new businesses, happy to pick up new business, new industries, run with it, and have got really open minds. I think the ones that are really stuck in their way and are really unopen to new markets are really struggling out there. But someone that just says, you know what, I'll try anything right now, they're the ones getting really far because they seem to have, something about them right now.
So you know what my opinion about everyone should be based hiring on competences. So there used to be the Barrow boy, white boy, bish bash bosh. There's me wearing a bit of Sergio on your behalf today, just to make you feel at home. But realistically, how many businesses have got really savvy with competency-based searching, and do they know what to look for?
I think, to be honest, it's the pre-2008 guys and girls have got back to basics in terms of recruitment. And we've got a few former S3 clients that are really looking at the competency and are being really smart actually about it. They're saying we're going to hire more and more and more and compare side by side. But the post-2008 guys were working really closely with what to look for, modelling to previous successful individuals, trying to speak to as many people that have gone through, I'm going to say the R word, we're not in a recession, but I'm going to say the R word, people that have gone through a recession previously to understand who did well and why. And what we're seeing is the same factors. The guys like Fadens and Oliver James Associates have always grown in recessions. Why? Because they always have resilience and core competencies, like you say, resilience, hard-working environment, picking up good markets and dropping them when they're bad very quickly. So they're malleable individuals, but guys that work really hard. Now, I know it's a different time, but they're the core fundamentals of what you're looking for. Someone that really wants it. I think the age of, as I said, account managers and a 9-to-5 attitude isn't there anymore. I think that's really going to get driven out. So we are educating a lot of people, but people are panicking a little bit at the moment.
It's the real estate of flux. I'm glad it concede that. But I think that what people should hire for now isn't necessarily that.
Yeah.
It's consult. When we go back, it's all going to be about outcome delivery, consultancy based, getting paid for our effort, not getting paid just for results. Yeah. So what can we bring that's though? I might have mentioned it once or twice, but recruitment is dead as a word, right? And eventually people will come to that conclusion. We aren't recruiters. It's what we do. It's dead as a word, right? It's all about delivering solutions, understanding, being savvy enough to understand your clients' commercial drivers, what it is they're trying to do, who it is they're trying to compete with, what they want to be doing next. Don't fix the problem today, understand the problem for tomorrow and help them drive towards that outcome. Help your boss achieve his business goals and his targets by delivering the projects, and then build automation and efficiencies in that process, and align yourself to internal recruiters. Don't try and fight them. But that person, the person who's going to win in that battle, isn't me as a kid walking in with a really naughty shirt, giving it and a big tie, giving it, oh, wee, gangster, I could save you 20 quid, wee, right? Yeah. That person is going to win anymore. Is a person who can build a relationship over a longer period of time. The problem is, the person I want is being induced away to go and work in SaaS. Yeah. And sell shit in America where they get 300 grand a year basic salaries. And I want him to work for 35 grand and to develop a business out of that, or which he'll get a shadow div and eventually get some sort of share. It's the businesses that you're recruiting have to align themselves to compete in that market and not keep talking recruitment, KPIs, dashboard numbers. Right? It's a different beast that's going to come out of this, I think. Are you seeing people being savvy to that and being on that trend?
I think right now, and that's the malleable comment I made before, and it's exactly that. People are expecting their consultants to start telling them what they see in the marketplace. So we saw TAS, which I think so much Soap and RDLC member talk about, which is talent as a service, or talent acquisition, sorry, as a service, which is going on site and actually doing the job, which is great. Well, you're right, recruitment is changing. I don't know if I agree it's dead, but I think certainly the professional side of it is dying very quickly.
It's dead as a word, mate. It's dead as a word.
Dead as a word. There you go. But I think the mass onboarding of individuals will continue to go, and that's you're talking to Reeds and searchers and people like that. But we are seeing people trying to offer products. I think one of the best things, I'm going to get shot for saying this, one of the best things that happened in recruitment was IR35, because it made people change. It made people think about what they're doing. And we saw loads of wonderful companies start doing SOW work. I still remember Jamie Fraser from Interact doing a talk about, another RDLC member doing a talk about, he doesn't do one roles. He doesn't go in and pitch new businesses. He'll go into a company like Amazon, who has never spoken to in his life before, and pitch 20 or 30 people.
And do you know who he's doing that with? It's a 19-year-old rookie. A 19-year-old rookie. As long as you get the lyrics right and you understand the process and they understand exactly what they're doing, you can get people to sell anything if they've got the right competences, aptitude, and ability to learn, take stuff in, and then throw it out in the right way.
But it's that mindset. He doesn't teach them to do 1, 2, 3 sales at one point. He teaches them that you're a solution seller. Go and find the problem and sell a complete solution. Don't sell one piece to a jigsaw. Sell a whole friggin' jigsaw to them. And I think that's working really, really well. And I think actually something we've tried to do is talk to a few other suppliers as well within recruitment. Minimize the amount of suppliers businesses are working with. Don't go for an RPO, but try to help them out by reducing the amount of suppliers they're working with, but sell a complete solution. We can do that in the background. And I think you've got to have smart enough consultants. And I do think it's both EQ and IQ at the moment. I think we've relied on EQ too much previously. But again, you see the privately owned guys and girls that run these brilliant businesses. They're starting to create products. They're starting to modify. They're starting to do 4, 5, 6 solutions at one time, or contractors or perm placements at one time. They're starting to sell rolling retainers. And they're seeing the guys like Page and Hayes and all the rest of it. They're left in the dust. But if you look at LinkedIn Insights for the month of April, the worst performing is in the companies that have grown or shrank, grown the least or shrank the most, however you want to look at it, have been the big boys, the Adecco-owned businesses, Hayes, Michael Page. That's LinkedIn Insights before I get sued. But they're the ones that have reacted the worst, because I honestly believe it takes too long for them to make a decision. So people are reacting. Some people are doing some really cool stuff out there.
Well, I've been talking about products forever, right? So I think we were quite a first mover. You know the story of when we were at S3 and we named all the products after spaceships, because our mantra at the time, because my business got to about 100 and just stalled. So we needed something new. So all the products were named after spaceships, and there was one called Liberator. And I realised that in the Netherlands, it's their equivalent of Rampant Rabbit, which was very awkward. And I refused to change it. Just to ruin. Oh, Jesus Christ, Gary! So productizing has been around for ages, but it's just evolved. I don't think any businesses now should work any perm role unless it's retained. I don't think they should work any contract role unless it's part of a suite, or you're at least selling a suite of products, or you're selling a suite of work, and you try and do an outsourced a statement of works piece. And if you end up just getting a couple of roles, as long as they're exclusive, well, fair enough. Okay. Now the individual to sell that is slightly different, right? It is slightly different from the norm. It's the biggest driver we have as the RDLC. It's always been trying to explain that process to recruitment business leaders. And once they get it, and once they can see it, and once they can touch it, and once we've got, as we have now, that mass movement within us, we will change the industry. And because we're on the front foot of changing the industry, everyone else is going to be chasing it. So it should be easier. So it should be easier for you to recruit for us. It should be easier for the recruitment business leaders to have a March, having that little downturn that Dean and I always wish for. It will play into our hands, but as much as the education is on what they should be recruiting, and it is slightly different, and their processes need to be good, right? So I remember saying to you, I'll see anybody you want, and if I can turn it around in 24 hours, I will with an offer. Why wouldn't you give me the best candidates in the marketplace?
Yeah.
And because I made it really easy for you to make money, and it was, you explained it to me, I absolutely owned it, and from that moment forward, that's the only way I ever recruited. If you can explain that to a customer, but first things first, you had to tell me as the business leader what actually made a difference. So there's an education piece going on.
It's not a difficult concept. You give me what I want, I give you what you want. It's a really simple negotiation situation. If you negotiate on what I want, I'm going to negotiate on what you want. It's the same as what our clients give to us. We had an instance, sorry to jump in, but we had an instance where we had 25% with our client. Internal rec comes in, it says 18%. The CEO had to come back in and said to talent acquisition person or internal recruiter, whatever they were, and say, do you not understand? If we have a client at 25%, we walk over hot coals for them. If we have a client at 18%, we give them the CVs that we're just about to put in the bin. It's a really, really simple context. And I will add, a number of the guys I placed with you at Mint are still there, still billing, still making money. That must have been the best return on investment they ever got from those deals that we did, because they were paying 20-odd%. I think it was 25% for 1 year's worth of revenue or salary. And the guys 7-8 years later are still making the money.
Dan, do you know what? I don't think people know your numbers and the economy to work out someone's value.
Yeah.
Do you share that publicly, or is that just something that we keep within our own circle?
No, I try to ram it down everyone's throat. I tell anyone that listens to me, I'm the mad guy on the side of the street with a megaphone and an A-board on it saying the numbers. Recruitment is quantifiable, right? The numbers are on the board. It's dead simple. You want to find out how good a recruiter is? Look at the sales. I don't care whether you think they're a good communicator. I had feedback from a 300 grand biller the other day. Not sure they're right for the office or the role. They're not a great communicator. They make 300 grand a year. That means they're a good communicator. Dead simple in your market. They beat a lot of your performance. So we say, on average, they should be doing a minimum of 20% of their billing should be about 20% of their base salary. So if they're on 40K and billing 160, they're too expensive. If they're on 40K and billing 400, they're too cheap. It's really, really simple. On top of that, I like to work on, this is the deep end of the market, a 1+1 model. So for every pound basic salary, they should be getting an extra pound on bonus, which means at the top end, they should be getting about, if you've got a decent sized business, about 40% of your billings, they should be taking home as salary. But obviously, if you've got a great brand, great database, existing clients, proven track record, obviously you can minimize that down to about 30% of their billing should be taken home. So anywhere between 15 and 20% of an individual's billings should be paid to them as a base salary. So really simple. Someone bills 300, you pay them anywhere between, my maths is going to have to be quick, but 45,000 and 60,000 pound basic salary with an additional bonus of 45,000 and 60,000 pound on top. Easy, done.
Can I ask you just a couple of final questions? Let's do a couple of questions each.
Yeah,
and go speed fire round, okay? What companies are doing well in this market?
Oliver James, we've done 3 deals within the past 4 weeks. They're doing well, but they always invest. Other companies that are doing well. Source Tech continuously are investing in people. Our mates at Signify seem to be doing well. Jamie Fraser at Interex doing well. So it's companies that are not scared, niche companies.
Right, and yeah, I was about to say, and why is that, and what's different about their employer brand?
I think for if you look at Oliver James, for example, for starter, they're clever in the way they operate. They're clever with the way they recruit. They always look for value. And they actually work to a quantifiable way, as we just talked about anyway. So they invest more in a downturn than they would in a normal moment, or at least I believe they do, because there's more value to be had. So for them, and they've got the systems to plug and play straight away. They can remote onboard people. They've got cloud infrastructure, there's a lot there, and I've got clients waiting for people to have. Companies like, Ryan and Jamie at Interact or Signify and Interact, let's say, they're really, really niche in what they do. They've got a really good handle on what's coming up. They're market experts, so they can tell the clients how busy they're going to be before the clients know how busy they're going to be. So they're able to forward or pre-guess what the market's doing as well. So super, super niche specialist recruitment companies are doing pretty well because they know 18 months in advance of what's going to come up, and they're investing today.
And there's some people around, probably TRM membership, who don't understand that by being niche doesn't mean being small. So Nigel Frank, right? Yeah. Mason Frank, right? You can be absolute monsters and still be super niche. You don't have to be, niche doesn't mean small. The worst thing you can do to be a 10-man recruitment business is piss up 10 different lampposts and try and do 10 different things. When has that ever worked? Give me one example where that's ever worked.
We've got a client, and we changed the way we did business overnight from this. We have a client, a decent sized client, that found out they've never made money on a desk where they've had under 3 people on it. And it worked out really simply. It's because people hide CVs, people don't chase leads hard enough, but also it was a mental thing. If they weren't willing to spend every penny on that desk as business owners, they didn't actually believe in it. They just sort of farted in there and just tried to dance about it. So no, you want to, as you say, you've got penetrate, you've got dominate, and then you've got saturate. You want to get to that third level where no one can enter that marketplace. And that's, it. If you're willing to put every penny in one desk, you're going to make it work.
Yeah. Also, if you are trying to do that, you do 4 people in a team, get that 4, you start with 4 people, get it to 10, get the best one, let them go with one other, go do it again. But then 10 people is a really good number to get to, and then you can build out and build out and build out. And it's, but you need 4 people in every team.
In a downturn, do you look for anything different when you're hiring?
You still look at the competencies of the people you're looking for. So that's resilience, it's sales ability, it's numbers, the ability to be organized, right? There's about 7 that you rate people on. We did it back at S3 a billion years ago. It's called More Than a Gut Feel. You have a different recruiter asking the questions about a different subject. You had a way to rate them. You came back, there's a minimum point score value. And then if they were good enough, then they got in front of me, right? So I still use the same competencies. However, I don't consider this a downturn, right? This is just let me be nuts for a second. This is not a downturn. It's a moment in time. Coming into this, we were absolutely smashing it out of the park. It's the best time it's ever been ever. I think a lot of businesses were flattered by the market and not their own abilities. So it's kind of like shaken a few people up and made some people slightly nervous about their own hubris coming through this. But at the end of this process, I think we're going to be different, and we are going to be more consultative. And I think as long as someone's got the chutzpah and the bravery to do anything I ask of them, and trust that they will do things, I think I would turn off the white boy massively and go for clever people. There's clever people who can work it out. So that every time I talk to someone, I spot an opportunity. But I think I'm still smart enough to understand how I'm going to deliver that in such a way where you're going to be quite happy for me to take this to the next level, rather than, I'll tell you what I've got for you, mate, right? And it's just that ability. So I think I might change some of my competencies slightly, but I'd still be massively competency-based because there's some basic stuff. But once upon a time, when was being organized one of the competencies that you ever hired upon? But now you've got, if you're not using the CRM right, I'm not paying you. If you're not measuring and recording what you do, I'm going to get sued about GDPR. If you're very slovenly about the stuff you're sending out, then it's not my message, it's your message, right? So there's a whole raft of things there that you just need to be mindful of. And I think, if I was doing an outsource in-house or a task solution for a customer, part of my sale to them was, one, I want you to pay me $5,000 to do your employer brand, because I know what's going to be more attractive than you do, and I'll create the microsite and I'll drive all the traffic to it. I will also charge you $5,000 to work on your internal systems and processes, because I don't want you to wait a week before you put an offer out. I don't want you to put a long gap in between. What kills deals? Time kills deals, right? So all of this stuff matters. So I think you should be doing that. I think you should be helping people in terms of their employer brand. I think because you know how to do it, right? And you should be telling people about their internal processes. So before someone comes to an interview, would you have sent them an e-brochure about us? Would you put some engagement video in front of them at the interview? What are you going to give us take away? What are you going to do the day after the interview? Right? And all of these things that make me feel, right? Because it's offer. And if you do that really, really, really well, you end up employing Dean Kelly when he was a kid, taking him from a 30 grand basic salary to come work for me for 10 grand when he had offers for 20 everywhere else. Because we made him feel really special. He's met a lot of people that were really impressive, but the way we took him on that journey meant I could nick the best talent in the world. And a lot of people sit there and think, because we're recruiters, we know best. Right? So that was a very long answer to a very simple question. But mate, I'm really passionate about that because, as Dean says all the time, the only asset we've got is our people.
Yeah,
and I always want to have the best people around me because they make me look special.
I want to add two things to that very quickly. Consultative is a word I think misused and hijacked constantly for people being nice. Consultative isn't nice. So if you go to a doctor who's a consultant and he says, "I've hurt my leg," he grabs your leg, he finds out where the pain is, and it hurts. And so that's what we have to do as recruiters. We have to ask difficult questions. We have to find out where the pain is. And sometimes we've got to ask questions that are going to pee people off. But the only way to improve things is asking the questions that no one else wants to ask and saying, your recruitment process is not good. Your retention is not good. So let's go and fix it. How is it wrong? And all the rest. I think people think consultative sometimes have been really nice and said, "You're so brilliant, you're so amazing, you're so..." No, that's not being consultative. That's not doing anything helpful. And the other thing as well, I've never got feedback after an interview of a candidate saying to me, "You know what, Dan, they're doing things exactly the way that they've always done it. They're really traditional. I love that." They always turn around to me and say, "You know what, they're doing really new stuff. That's quite exciting. They're trying to do different things in the marketplace." And I think sometimes recruitment companies misunderstand that new stuff doesn't mean they give breakfast away or they got flexible hours or whatever it means. Doing new stuff can be. I remember Kate talked about it. McCarthy was the new product lines. Every single product had a different individual, and she individualized every single product. That's cool new stuff. That's what candidates want to buy into, or recruiters want to buy into, because they can see themselves selling it. No longer is it contingency. But like we said, do you do anything different? No, to add to what you say, but I think people need to push on what consultative looks like and actually push their ideas forward.
I think this has been a showcase for you, mate, because you are really specially good. You're bright as a button, and a lot of people in the rec-to-rec world get on my pip because they can't get a job and they just think, "Oh, I'll do a bit of rec-to-rec." And I think you've done yourself a load of favours here, because I think we think very creatively, and you're bright as a button. You live in the wrong part of the world, but I love you dearly. That's brilliant. Is there anything you wanted to finish on? Just so I'll let you have the last word for a change.
I appreciate it. I'm going to give it to you, but if we're going to take one thing from what we said today, if a recruitment owner, recruitment consultant is going to listen to one thing or take one thing from it, what would you give them?
I think people need to realise what good looks like today, and it's not what it looks like 8 months ago. Everyone was moving towards, we were moving towards product-based sales all the time, and banging on about being deliberately different and creative and innovative and business and the economic realities and harsh truths, and being able to talk to business people as business people. And if you look around your office and you think, nah, right, you've got to be honest about it, because whatever you want your business to be, you might be the person who's steering the stagecoach, but it's the horses who are going to get you there. And if you've got a couple of mules in there, what an analogy! I've suddenly made myself a cowboy. Right, but it's true. You need those people to power you And you want to look round and say, what were you like in a business before? That you were that lead stallion who was just making it happen, or the mega, absolutely, and then turning back to say, go left, you mother, right, and driving that forward and trying to beat a record and get there quicker. I'm carrying on with the analogy, and it was a gold rush, and if you could get there quicker, you could make more gold. And if you could do that stuff, that would be absolutely brilliant. Sometimes I feel that people are walking in front of the horse, dragging it with them. Do you know what? Let the horse go and be a Finder's lasagna. Get yourself a new horse if that's the case. There's just gear up, but base it on measure. Understand what good looks like. Break down the science behind it for competences, and live or die by them. And plug in SPQ Gold, right? Because without having something which is really smart, whatever psychometric that you use SPQ Gold, because there's nothing like it. It's absolutely amazing, and work with good people, right? So only work with one rec to rec, and make sure that you treat them like goals, because they'll give you the right result. Just as you want to be treated as a recruiter, treat your partners. Yeah, I agree. 100%. I can't believe I'm absolutely knackered today. I don't even know what time it is, but I'm a bit beaten up.
You give it a good shot. I massively appreciate it, mate. I think that'll be really good, and for me, massively as well. It's good. I appreciate your time on it.
Lovely, mate. I love what you're doing for us. Thank you very much. And I think this just come across well. Cheers, buddy.
Right,
See you later.
Mate. See you later. Take care, fella.
Bye.